Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig with you. We're joined by the Boardman Lacrosse team, three members of the boys team joining us live on the show. We already heard from Ashton, and now we're going to move on to Eric, who is junior on this lacrosse team. Let me pull up this email with all the information for it. All right, so we're going to bring up Eric. And Eric, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate your time. My first question, just like Ashton, what's it been like to step up as an upperclassman this year, go from sophomore to junior year, and to be asked to have a little bit more responsibility this year?
Well, it was definitely like a big step forward from last year, and obviously I have way more in the way of things being on me and being responsible for things. But I think stepping up, I've done a pretty good job of, taking care of the underclassmen and making sure this team evolves as a whole.
It's your second year as a captain, so you were a sophomore captain as well. What's it mean to you to have that C on your chest and to be a captain of this team?
Well, I really am honored to be a captain for the second year in a row, and it means a lot to me because all that is coming from my teammates, and I appreciate the trust and the support they have for me as me being one of their captains.
You are one of the defensive leaders on this team. I don't think defense from lacrosse doesn't get enough credit. Talk about how much pride you take in defense.
Well, what they say, offense wins games, defense wins championships. So I do like the defensive aspect of lacrosse, and I just think we are the silent professionals. We don't get a lot of the credit, but sometimes we have our moments where we shine.
You get to say all that and you get to do all the dirty work. What's it like to do all the work that kind of goes under the radar for your team, and the one that doesn't show up a lot in the stat sheet or doesn't get all the headlines, but you're able to say like you're the backbone? What's that been like for you?
Well, yeah, the stats aren't nothing to brag about, but that means we are doing our job right. If we're not seeing a lot of action, even that's the offensive part of the team doing a great job. But I know what I'm doing. I know what the defense is doing. So that's all that really matters. We know that we're keeping the enemy's goals low.
Something that is to be bragged about is that you are the president of your class. I feel like I should be bowing to El Presidente. What's that been like to be president of the class of 2025?
Well, it's not just the support from my team; it's support from the whole class. Which again, I really am honored. That my whole class would like me to be their president. It's just it's a big job, and I think I could take it on pretty easily. So I am honored for my classmates. I thank them especially.
What responsibilities does class president hold? What things do you have to juggle as El Presidente?
Well, I have to set up for a lot of the school events like prom and homecoming, and I also sell admission tickets for that stuff as well. And I'm expected to represent the class in a good light, of course.
You do that well on the lacrosse team, but you also are on the soccer team at Boardman. What's that like to be a multiple sport athlete and to pour some time on the boys soccer team as well?
Well, it's being a multi-sport athlete, it is a little more chaotic than focusing on one thing, but the two kind of do go hand in hand. Soccer season comes in the fall before lacrosse, so it really helps me stay in shape almost year round and gets me ready for that lacrosse season.
You have a gap between the winter. What are your activities in the winter? What are you doing to transition into lacrosse? What are you doing to are you taking a little bit of a mental break from sports? How do you keep yourself busy in the winter?
During the winter, I don't play any winter sports, so mostly I'm just lifting and bulking up, I guess you could say, for the lacrosse season. Yeah, mostly just lifting weights and maybe a little running here and there. Not too much though.
With all the defense you play and the hits that you take in lacrosse, has the wrestling coach ever reached out to you and been like, "Hey, come wrestle a little bit"? Have you ever tried to get recruited by the wrestling team? I gotta wonder.
I have not. No, the wrestling coach has not reached out to me.
Think he's missing out. Think he's missing out on someone that might be able to put some people down on the mat. When we talk about your work in the classroom as well, what are some of the favorite classes and the things that you like to work at and study at Boardman?
My favorite class this year is definitely AP biology. It's a fun class, and I do enjoy learning about biology a little bit. So yeah, that's probably my favorite class, bio.
What's the hardest class you've taken so far?
Uh, the hardest class probably is going to go to AP government. You know, it's not a walk in the park. It really is a little bit of a challenge sometimes.
That's 2-0 for AP government. So that might be a compliment to that teacher to know that their class is hard. What do you think makes that class so hard? Is it the tests? Is it the assignments? Is it the studying? What's so hard about AP government?
I probably would have to give it to the tests and studying for those tests. Those things ain't easy, really.
The junior year is when you start to think about your future a little bit. You still have one more year to decide all those stuff, but are plans starting to be formed about what you want to do after high school and the things that you want to accomplish after you graduate?
Yeah, I am. I'm pretty dead set on what I want to do. I would like to play lacrosse in college and join the Army's ROTC program in college, and then after that, hopefully be in the armed forces.
What drove you that? I mean, that's one path that only a certain mindset of people take. So, what drove you to that path, and what made you want to pursue that career?
Well, at first, playing lacrosse in college wasn't really a very big goal of mine. But as I continued with the sport, yeah, I definitely want to play lacrosse. So just staying with lacrosse has inspired me to play in college. And as for the army aspect of my future, I watched a lot of Rambo movies, so I have to give credit to that.
You got the Rambo hairstyle too. I love it. What are some things that you do outside of sports that give you a little bit of a break, give you that mental break to take yourself off of the sports mindset when you need to?
Um, you know, I do like lifting. I think it's although some might not consider it a break. I consider it a break from sports and stuff. I do like to just relax, listen to music, play video games, and just maybe take a drive every once in a while.
What's your favorite weight circuit? The one that's more therapeutic for you than hard work.
Um, you're probably just relaxing, just taking a step back from everything.
When you think of the least favorite circuit in weightlifting, is it leg day? Is it cardio? What's your least favorite?
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't
You're
mean to.
good.
Definitely leg day. I'm not a big leg day guy.
The guy that plays soccer, not a fan of running extra and doing leg days in the weight. He gets enough leg day in soccer and lacrosse, I think. Um, let's talk about some of the things that you do to get yourself in that mindset. We had talked to Ashton about songs he listens to. Are you a music guy? Are you one of those guys that like silence before games? What gets you in that right competitive mindset?
Yeah, I definitely put on the hype up playlist. I'm a big music guy, so before a game, I'll definitely be jamming.
What's your hype up playlist look like? What are some artists, some songs that pop up in it?
A lot of Motley Crue, probably a lot of Van Halen in there too. I'm an '80s rock guy, so it's all that.
I like it. When you think 80s rock, you think the concerts they put on. If you could go back in time and go to any live concert from the 80s, what would you want to go to?
I'd probably want to go to a Van Halen concert.
When you think of some things that are dreams of yours that you want to you one day accomplish, whether it be on the lacrosse field, whether it be in the career, what are some of those like 10 years from now dreams that you have?
Some dreams I do have in the future. Thinking relatively short term, I would love to see us go pretty far in the playoffs as a team, and maybe even an undefeated season, maybe in next couple of years. Even if I'm gone, I want to see the lacrosse team succeed, farther than we could take it. And maybe thinking a little bit further down the line, I would like to get into the Army Special Forces. So like, some pretty cool stuff later on.
when we think of when you think of the success you have, you also realize that you're a role model, and people are looking up to you. Like you said, even if you're gone, you want to see this program succeed in the future. That happens because of the people that are looking up to you now. What's it like to see, guys that might be working in the middle school ranks or maybe even lower, look at your team and you specifically because you're a captain and saying, I want to be like, I want to mold my game after them.
You know, it really it's flattering, because I see the youth team practicing, and I watch their games sometimes, and I think back to when I was a youth guy like that, and I stopped by a couple high school games when I was just on the youth team, and I kind of think back to when I was a young player, and it is flattering and honoring, and I want to be a good role model, so these guys can take my place one day and take this team real far.
Who were your role models when you were growing up? Who were some people that you looked up to?
Some role models, definitely my father. I feel like if I were to look up to one role model, it would definitely be my father. I feel like everything he's done has been great and everything, and I think he's a man I would want to be molded after and take after.
All right. So what we do with these player profiles is we give the player the opportunity at the end to take the limelight off themselves for a minute and shine it on the people in their support system. We're going to do that for you. We're going to let you give your shout outs and as many thanks as you want to give out.
you know, Obviously starting with my family, I love to thank my family. They've supported me from the very start, and they've given me a bunch of opportunities, and I can't thank them enough for that. And I also want to thank my teammates, for sticking with me for the good times and the bad. They'll pick you up when you're feeling down and stuff. So, they're great to be around all the time. I like to thank my classmates too. They support our team. They come out and watch and everything. So, big ups to them too for coming out and supporting our program. And yeah, I'd like to thank God too.
All right, Eric, we want to thank you so much for your time, man. We appreciate it. And we wish you definitely the best of luck in this season. All right, we were going to take one more break. And when we come back from this commercial break, we'll have the last lacrosse player interview, which save the best for last, maybe, Sam Bundy, when we come back from this break on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town.